when you're having fun, when you're doing something you enjoy, right? You have that dopamine, you've got the endorphins, you've got all these great, beautiful, happy, exhilarating hormones, shifts us out of the stress response, shifts us out of cortisol production, right? So your body's not producing dopamine, adrenaline, and cortisol at the same time, right? They're not doing it. So it's part of my stress management. Well, hello and welcome back to Empowered. This is a 12-episode podcast series designed to help you embrace your brilliance as a holistic health nurse coach. You guys, can you believe that we're on episode 4 of the 12? I just can't believe it. The time has been like literally flying by. So I will say this, if you missed the last episode, which was all about revolutionizing healthcare, and really I was going to say the future of healthcare, but really it's the present of healthcare, which, we talked a lot about identifying the root cause of your patient or client's disease, right? And supporting their body in healing itself. It was a very deep, amazing, insightful conversation between me and Dr. Orlando Wells. For those of you who have been following for quite some time, you guys know that we co-facilitate the Prosperous Practitioner Program, which is a program that is really half clinical, functional medicine, I should say, and then half business development. So it's a beautiful blend of the two. And so if you missed that episode, definitely go back and watch that episode, okay? Now, today's episode, oh my God, I'm very excited about this. Today's episode is creating a transformational holistic health coaching program. Okay, because I know there's many of you that are listening and you're like, okay, what do I do? And how do I do it? Is it going to work? And all the things. So we're going to put all those things to bed today. Okay. Now, disclaimer. There are many, 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 many components. There were lots of components of creating a truly, transformational holistic health coaching program. We're going to hit the top 3 today because this really gives you a solid foundation. If you're missing these pieces, it doesn't even matter what the other pieces are. So these are the foundational pieces. All right. So you guys ready? Great. But before we hop into that, guess what we're going to do? We are going to do some affirmations. So this is kind of taking us back to episode 1. We talked about the power of your words, the power of your thoughts too. And so we're going to start with just a quick round of affirmations just to really set the tone. And then we'll hop into today's topic. Okay. All righty. Now, I'm not going to repeat each affirmation 3 times just because I want to allow plenty of time to really cover the topic for today. So I'm just I'm going to speak to 3 different areas like I typically do, health, wealth, and then our overall well-being. And so I will share 3 or 4 affirmations from each of those categories. And then once we conclude that, then we'll hop into, again, today's topic. So let's take a slow and deep breath. All right. And whether you're driving or you're stationary, you can just repeat after me. All right, with conviction. I am worthy of great health. I'm so used to saying them 3 times, so I want to just go ahead and repeat that one again. I am worthy of great health. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. I have an abundant amount of energy. I allow the infinite intelligence of my body to heal itself. Beautiful. Let's move on to wealth. I am always attracting abundance. I'm going to slow down so you actually can repeat it after me. Okay, now let's repeat that one. I am always attracting abundance. I am so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. That's one of my favorites. I am so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. Love it. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. Yeah, money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. Love that. I am worthy of the wealth I desire. Yes, you are. You absolutely are. Let's go on to well-being. I am an energetic match to my heart's desires. Yes. I trust my intuition. When I feel the nudge, I move in faith. Beautiful. I allow calmness and peace to surround me. Awesome. We'll end with this one. Something wonderful is always happening for me, by me, through me, and as me. And I'll repeat that one for you. Something wonderful is always happening for me, by me, through me, and as me. All right, just breathe that in. How's that feel? Feel free to go back and listen to it. And if I love repeating affirmations 3 times before I move on to the other affirmation, I think I shared that with you before. So if you're like, well, I don't know, I don't feel as jazzed as before, I don't feel, then go back, listen to it, and then literally just pause it and repeat each affirmation 3 times. So yes. Okay. Now moving on and hopefully you guys are doing this every single day, multiple times a day. If nothing else, at least at the start of your day. And I'm just bringing back in episode 2 of Empowered, the power of visualization. I hope and I pray for your sake that you are really starting to incorporate that into your everyday life, into your everyday way of being. It is so powerful. It is so transformational. Okay, now speaking of transformational, creating a transformational holistic health coaching program. You guys, because I know at the end of the day, this is what your deep desire is, right? You want to shift the way we care for our patients and our clients, right? You want to, if you're here listening to me on this podcast, you are, you know that there's some shifts, there's some changes, there's some shortfalls in the traditional healthcare system, and you know that there needs to be a change, right? And you are here because you want to be an agent of change, right? What happens a lot of times is that we get stuck in our head, but is this going to work? Is this program going to work? Or how do I even start to develop a program? I don't know where to start. I hear that all the time. And so again, I'm going to share with you really 3 core, like 3 foundational pieces to your program. I will also say every program is going to look different. Even though we're all in the holistic health space, even though we're all in the functional medicine space, everyone's program is going to look slightly different. And guess what? That's cool. That's awesome. That's amazing. Okay. I want you to remember this. You'll hear me say this time and time and time again. No one can do what you can do the way you can do it. Did you hear that? No one can do what you can do the way you can do it. That is your secret sauce. That is your superpower. Embrace it, own it, like live in that, like operate from that space. Okay. All right. So I said all that to say, there are going to be some overlaps. Like there are going to be some elements of your program that overlap with some elements of my program, that overlaps with elements of someone else's program. And it's all good. It's all good. But this is your program. Like I said, even if I like handed you my program on paper, right? The delivery of it, the execution of it, the implementation, the support, it would look different because we're different. You and I are different. And so I just really want to set the stage with that, because oftentimes we're like, well, you know, the whole perfectionist. I told you guys day one, I am a recovering perfectionist. And I bring this up because, again, I hear this time and time again, because that perfectionism like kind of kicks in and it's like, oh, but it's got to be, trust me, you're going to do it. This is another important piece that we're going to create the program, right? Well, the majority of the program, you're going to implement the program, and then you're going to tweak it along the way. This is not a one and done. My holistic health coaching program today does not look anything. I'm going to share a little bit about that. I was going to say it doesn't look anything. It resembles the first iteration back in 2018. Okay. But we are currently in 2024. The program has shifted. It's evolved. It's gotten better, to be quite honest. It was great then, but it's even better now. And so I don't want you to think that this is a one and done. No, this is a program that's going to continue to have more depth and more insight as you start to infuse it, as you continue to grow and shift and learn more, and all of that, you're going to bring that into your program. Okay. All right. So Let's delve into the art of designing your holistic health coaching program that meets the desires, important word there, that meets the desires of your ideal clients. You guys, I feel like I talk about ideal clients until the cows come home, which I do, because that's a key component. Really knowing, understanding, clearly identifying who your ideal clients are. Yes, as nurses, as nurse practitioners, if you're a physician, as as healthcare providers, we can take care of everyone, absolutely. But when you're building your business, you want to have a niche, or you want to know who your ideal client is. Let's call it a specialty, if you will. It can be multifaceted, right? So it can be multifaceted because here, this is what we know. The body is, everything is connected in the body. Everything is connected. So if one thing is off, eventually it's going to affect something else, right? So even though, so my clients, for instance, the majority of my clients and my holistic health clients are, they either have primary hypertension or type 2 diabetes, and they're wanting to reverse those disease processes and get off of meds. Okay. And so those are the type of people that I speak to in my messaging and in my marketing. But I get people of all that have other issues. And maybe that is one of their issues, but they have other issues. Why? Because the body is connected, right? That's why it's a holistic health coaching program. So we're going to work with the body in totality, although we might just be speaking specifically to these particular either elements or demographics or that type of thing. Okay. So ideal clients is the main thing here. Now, why? And why is this important? Because your approach will look slightly different if you are, let's say, for instance, your niche is perimenopausal women. The way you work with her and many of the elements of your program is going to be different than, let's say, for instance, your ideal client is a first-time mom, postpartum mom. Number one, she's in a different phase of life. We're talking probably 20s or 30s versus 45s or 50s. So we got something totally different there, right? But then also what they're experiencing in their body. Okay. So that being said, let's jump into, again, the three foundational pieces of your program. So the first thing is like the elements. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to just kind of brainstorm. Minimum 3, I would say maximum 12. And the reason I say 12 is because if you have a 12-month program, literally you can focus on one element every month, and that'll be a 12-month, that could be your 12-month program. But what is it? This is the question you want to ask yourself. What is it that your patients, clients, your clients, I'm just going to say clients just so I don't have to keep saying, multiple words, but what is it that they need to learn while they are working with you so that they can assist their body in healing, right? So what are those things? What do they need to know? What do they need to learn? What do they need to change, shift, implement, get rid of? Like, what are some pieces that they absolutely need? Okay. Again, right now, just do a brain dump. I would say all of us, so let me just take it to my holistic health program just to kind of give you a little context, right? So my holistic health coaching program starts off with a root cause blood work analysis. If you're like, what is that? We talked about it extensively in the previous episode, me and Dr. Orlandis, right? So root cause blood work analysis. So we can actually run their blood and say, okay, what actually is going on? What's out of balance here? So we start there. That's like the genesis of the program. And then a foundational piece of my program of nutrition. It's raw food, raw vegan food, because it's so healing. When I talk about, food as medicine, powerful when you're looking at raw food, which many of you know, because that's why you're here, right? But raw vegan food is so healing. It's so anti-inflammatory. It's amazing. So that's one of the key components, one of the key elements of my program. Is everyone in my programs like raw vegan? No, but for certain periods of time they are, right? Because we're really wanting to reverse that these disease processes. So we got the food element, right? For me, raw food. We've got the sleep optimization. Most people don't even realize that they're not even like sleep optimization. I'm going to leave it at that. Sleep optimization, right? And so there's definitely different components, even within those components, right? So I want you to have big pillars, but then you can even break down those pillars. Okay. So again, my overall pillar could be sleep optimization. or sleep hygiene, but what does that actually look like? There's many things that we can do, making sure that we, are turning off our screen time, dimming our lights, maybe even, infusing essential oils, diffusing essential oils, or making it part of their bath time, or shower time. Whatever, there's many components. There's many subcomponents to the greater component, or to the greater pillar. Okay, stress reduction. You guys know how much I love meditation, visualization. Again, essential oils, movement. Let me tell you this too. And remember, this is not a cookie cutter. This is not a cookie cutter program. Your program. Okay, one of my former clients. And I actually mentioned her in the book that I wrote, the Creating a Functional Medicine Revolution, but Miss Dorothy. So we were talking about just movement. And for whatever reason, she had this concern of falling. And so, because I would encourage her to walk, like, let's just walk 15 minutes a day. Let's just start with 15. And she had this concern and really that fear around falling. And so there was already this resistance. And so there's no way I could continue to encourage her to go walking, knowing that in her mind, she had so much resistance to walking. So I asked her, I said, what do you do for fun? And she was like, I don't know. I don't really, I don't have fun on a regular basis. I said, okay, well, we're going to start doing that. Why? Because guess what? That actually helps to shift. That actually falls for me into my stress management component, because when you're having fun, when you're doing something you enjoy, right? You have that dopamine, you've got the endorphins, you've got all these great, beautiful, happy, exhilarating hormones. Shifts us out of the stress response, shifts us out of cortisol production, right? So your body's not producing dopamine and adrenaline and cortisol at the same time, right? They're not doing it. So it's part of my stress management protocol, if you will. But anyway, bottom line is she loves to hula hoop. We had lots of discussion. I had to take her all the way back. She was like, "Oh my God, I used to love to hula hoop when I was a kid." And I said, "Great, your homework today is to go to Target or Academy or Walmart, wherever, get you a hula hoop, and that's going to be your movement." So here's the thing. This is the power of that. This is the power of when you're not taking a cookie cutter approach. I didn't have to keep checking in with her to see how you're doing on your exercise. Honey, listen, she would come home from work and the first thing she would grab is her hula hoop, because it was fun. It was enjoyable. It's something that she wanted to do, something that she loved to do. So help your clients find things that they absolutely love to do in that, bigger component under that pillar. Okay. So hula hoop for exercise. Alrighty. Let's see what else I was going to say. Oh, one of my business coaching clients, she's Reiki certified, right? So Reiki is part of her program. Energy, it's an energy healing, Reiki, sound baths, all of that is part of her program. So what key elements do you want to have part of your program, right? So that's number one. Number two, again, foundational pieces, because if you don't have these, you don't have anything. What's the length of your program? Okay, length of your program. Now, I will tell you, I'm not a huge proponent of 3-month programs. Why? If they're like a jumpstart, maybe, but not as the actual program. Why? Because we know what we're dealing, a lot of what we're dealing with is human behavior. And so, there's a saying, it takes 21 days to form a habit. It's more than that. Research has actually refuted that. It takes a lot longer. For many people, it's closer to a year to build in and ground in solid changes. Okay. So in my opinion, 3-month programs are really setting your clients up for failure. Unless it's something that's, maybe it's something acute that can actually be fixed in 3 months. But for the most part, most of the disease processes that we're dealing with, and a lot of them are lifestyle related, they're going to take some time. Right. So if you want to create a 3-month program, go for it. But this is the question that I ask. And I'm going to ask you to ask yourself, can you get your client from point A to point Z in the length of time that you're proposing? If the answer is no, then don't offer it. Don't set your clients up for failure. A lot of times we think, I'll just create a 3-month program because it's a low commitment and they'll just get them in. But you know what? Here's the thing. If you're really here to effect change, if you're really here to truly help them transform their health, which is ultimately going to transform their life and the life of those around them, set them up for success. right? Don't enroll them in a 3-month program if you know full well. So, prime example, I was having a conversation with one of my business coaching clients, and she said she's in the weight loss space, and she was saying how her client has like 180 pounds, 80 pounds to lose. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna share a 3-month program with her. I said, can she lose 80 pounds in 3 months? And she was like, no, but it'll give her a start. I said, yeah, it'll give her a start. Absolutely. Absolutely. But do we want to give people a start, or are we wanting to help shift, transform their health and their life? Right? The latter. That's what we're here to do. And so if you're in the weight loss space and you know that your client has 80 pounds to lose, and you know she can't accomplish that goal in 3 months, then offer what is in the best interest of her. Honestly, could she do it in 6 months? Probably, and maybe, depending. Remember, you're dealing with human behavior though. Okay. So human behavior, what do? We resist, even though we want change, we do resist change. And then you have to factor in, okay, they're going to have some days, even weeks, where they're going to kind of quote unquote backslide, if you will. They're going to get off course. They're going to have to get back on course, right? And then you're there to support them through that, right? And so I would say, if you're in the weight loss space, I'm just using this as an example, but if you're in the weight loss space, your client wants to release 80 pounds. There's lots of underlying things there. Number one, you have to address the inflammation, because if she has a lot of inflammation, her body's not going to release the weight, period. Okay. So this is it's a very systematic approach, right? And so I would say 12 months, then that's what I would offer her or him. It's a 12-month program. So keep that in mind. Don't just say, don't be short-sighted. I guess the biggest takeaway here is what is going to be in the best interest of your client. If you can get them from point A to point Z in 3 months, go for it. But if not, then adjust it. Okay. All right. And I'll share with you, when I first started my holistic health coaching business, I didn't know. I didn't have the direction that you guys have right now. And so I was like, 3 months. Okay, 3 months. And my program is 3 months, $1,200 for 3 months. And I quickly realized after month one, I'm like, we are not going to be done in 2 months. Could I teach everything in 3 months total? Absolutely. Remember this, it's not just about you teaching, right? It's people don't have we can learn all day. We can access things all day, information all day. It's the implementation piece that people need support with. Okay. And there's no shame in that, but it is the implementation part. That's where people need the support. So I realized after month one of this 3-month program, I'm like, ooh, I could teach her everything, but I had already identified, like, she's going to struggle with some pieces. And so that I only sold one 3-month program, because after like month one, I'm like, okay, I'll probably never offer a 3-month program again. And so then my program went to 6 months for $6,000. Then I sold a couple of those programs. And then I realized, again, my demographic, I'm like, we're going to need a whole year for this. And so now across the board, my program is a 12-month program, and it is actually $30,000, but that includes repeat labs. It includes supplements. It includes several things. So I'm not saying that your program has to be based priced like mine, but what I am saying is, again, look at it from the perspective of, can you get your clients from point A to point Z, not to point B, but from A to Z in the allotted time. And I will tell you this, I have had several clients sign up with me, enroll in my program for 12 months, and they've even extended for an additional 6 months. And I have one client that actually extended for an additional 6 months. So we worked together for a total of 2 years. So just throwing that out there. Okay, third piece, pricing. This is big. This is a big one. I'm going to have a whole episode around money and the receivership and we'll leave it at that. Money, receivership, worthiness, money shame, money guilt, because I know that's a real thing for many women, particularly in healthcare. Charging for your services, charging for your intellectual property. And that's really what you have to look at is, you being compensated for. Well, let me take it back 1 second. You're not charging per hour. I know that's what we're used to. We're not charging per hour. No, that's not how you do. You're charging for the transformation. I want you to literally think about this and ask yourself, what's the value of the transformation? What's the value of them working with you? What is the value of them reversing their type 2 diabetes? I mean, it's priceless, to be quite honest. It is, but you do have to put a price on it, right? But I want you to really look at it from that lens. This is not an hourly thing. Employees get paid by the hour. Entrepreneurs get paid based on the transformation. Lock that in, write that down. Okay. All right. So you're charging again for the value of the value of the transformation, right? Remember, this is your intellectual property. How long did you go to school to learn this? How much experience have you had? Maybe not in the entrepreneurial space, but I want you to think about all the years. You guys, I was an ICU nurse for 12 years. That's a lot of experience just dealing with people, understanding the body, how the body works, that type of thing. Now, adding into that, when I shift my focus to learn, holistic, alternative modalities of healing, food as medicine. I mean, all the education that has gone since I left the bedside. That's a lot. 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 Okay. And so, pricing. Now, I will tell you this. That was a very high level overview. We talked about 3 components, right? Main component is what are the core pieces, right? Whether that's 3 or 12, and anywhere in between. So we talked about the elements that they absolutely need to have in the program. We talked about the length of the program, right? And then we talked about the pricing of the program, okay? And we don't do hourly. That's not what we're doing here, okay? There's many more components, and even with those 3 foundational pieces, I mean, we could go like super deep. This is literally a program that I have. It's called The Program, and I literally help you develop out your program piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. Okay. And so if you are like, okay, this is a good start, but I feel like I might need a little bit more, like I need the rest of the pieces and I need to make sure that I'm on the right track, I would definitely this is what you can do. You can actually just DM me on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. DM me the words The Program, or just do program, just DM me program. And I'll know exactly what you're talking about. And I can give you some more information about that. We literally just wrapped up the program with my Quantum Leap clients. So here we go. I pray that this episode has helped you gain clarity. I hope this episode has helped you really embrace your brilliance. And I absolutely hope and pray that this episode has truly left you feeling empowered, because that is the purpose. So this is my ask of you. 1, if this resonated with you, share it with another nurse. Share it with another nurse practitioner. Share it with another physician. Share it, because this is how we change the face of healthcare. This is how we change the state of health. Okay? So that's my first ask. Share it. You can share it on social media if you want, or share it with a friend. Either way. Second ask. And if you do share it on social media, tag me. I always love to see that on any of the platforms. I'm Sharice Williams. Okay? Second thing is, if you know that you want to go deeper with this and you really truly want to map out your program, truly a powerful transformational program, and you want to nail the pricing, and you want to nail the components, and you want the subcomponents of the major components, all the things, again, DM me the word program, and I'll share with you the program, the actual program, okay? And how you can enroll in that. Okay, that being said, you guys, join me next week. Join me next week for episode 5. I had to think about that. Episode 5, you guys. What are we going to jump into? Creating financial security in your coaching journey. Huge, important. Okay. So that being said, you guys, thanks so much for joining me. I will see you next week for another powerful episode of Empowered on the Sharice Williams Show. Bye for now.